Hello and welcome to issue number 12 of Headline Heroes, a comedy podcast where we take today's headlines and create a comic book origin story. My name is Drew Mick.
I'm Nathan Haynes.
And I'm Tanner Ackerman.
So, guys, we're back again recording at night after a long series of what felt like millions of episodes in the morning.
We've escaped the hellscape.
I'm honestly really glad that we're here in this moment, recording at night when we're at our mental best, because we have a little bit of controversy that we got to handle. Tanner, I don't want to put you on blast. I don't want to ruffle any feathers in our little triumvirate here, but it really is your fault.
I don't see how.
So, at the end of last episode, while we were having a little bit of fun talking with each other, you did rank the Blue Collar Comedy Tour comics in order of your preference, and we've had a lot of feedback about that, and how people saying that you have the wrong order, have always had the wrong order, and you couldn't be more wrong. How do you respond to this?
Oh, I'm sorry that those blue funny men are fun. I know their ranking better than anyone. All right, if they had grown up watching them as constantly as me, Larry the Cable Guy has his finger on the pulse. Eat his potato chips.
What pulse is that?
Okay, Tanner, I gotta ask, how long has Larry the Cable Guy been paying you money under the table?
Shut up, Drew. Anyway, let's get back to the subject at hand, which is Larry the Cable Guy's chips, and he has a new flavor coming out this week, which is Dump Truck.
No, Tanner, you can't do this. What? No. Sorry, stop the podcast. Larry
Yeah, I'm doing exactly that.
Dump Truck. I mean, here's the thing. Regardless of whether or not it's real, it says a lot about Larry the Cable Guy that I believe that there could be Dump Truck coming out. Oh, you done got us.
You got us.
Coming to shelves near you.
Now, there's a real good test to tell whether or not you're actually in the pocket of Larry the Cable Guy. Hey, Tanner, what did you think of Jingle All the Way 2?
You mean the superior Jingle All the Way?
Ah, yes. Okay, so I think we know what's going on here.
Let me just make a quick phone call. Yeah, take the shot. All right, Tanner, you just sit tight.
Now, I don't remember what the rest of your order was, but you started with Larry the Cable Guy, and then I think you went... Did you want to remind us of your ordering?
Man, I would love to, but all that mattered was that I put Larry the Cable Guy at the top. The rest just...
Yeah, that you did do a bad thing. We did have one listener write in and say that Tanner's ranking of the Blue Collar Comedy Tour has me tearing my hair out. This is the only acceptable answer. Bill Engvall, Ron White, Jeff Foxworthy, the audience, nearby janitors, Larry the Cable Guy. Tanner, how do you respond to these accusations of about that specific order?
I feel like they're not giving like the microphone technicians, the light guys, and all of them enough credit.
Yeah, you're right. You know, he's really not being inclusive enough.
Yeah, so Nate, what are we doing today?
What are we doing today? Well,
what do we do
we started
here?
By doing our...
Sometimes I really wonder what we do here, because we end up going off on some stupid tangent about the Blue Collar Comedy Tour.
We talk about the Blue Collar Comedy Tour, and we joke a lot about, this is a fun fan cast or something that's not this. But I think we brought up the Blue Collar Comedy Tour or one of its members in at least 5 different episodes. So I don't know what that says about them, what that says about us. What we're actually doing here, unrelated to the Blue Collar Comedy Tour, this is Headline Heroes, like you said, Drew. And what we're going to do here, Drew, if you haven't heard this before, let me sit you down and let me tell you what it is that we do here.
We're going to sit right here, cozy.
Mm-hmm. Take a seat.
At your feet.
Hold on to you're only going to need the edge of it, but I got you.
Do you have any hot cocoa?
It's summertime. I have some lemonade for you, but that's it. Okay?
Okay.
You scald yourself when I get you hot cocoa. You know that. When you're older, I can trust you.
You're so right.
This is Headline, Drew. This is Headline Heroes. Cast your mind back over the past week to us collecting articles from across the internet, the weird, the bizarre, grabbing those headlines, throwing them in a document, and we're going to select one of those at random, and we're going to use it to create an origin story for a hero or a villain. Now, we alternate, so Tanner is going to tell us what we're going to make this week, and he is going to pick the article for us. So, Tanner, what's going on?
Okay, we're making a hero this week because last week we made Kindergeist, the kindergarten
and perhaps
villain.
even a greater villain was your claim of what ranking the Blue Collar Comedy Tour.
greater
We were
hero.
praising you, Tanner, as being like a good person. Like, we added you into the fiction, and then you gone done and thrown this Larry the Cable shit at us, and now I think you're the bad guy.
I mean, you knew what you were getting into when you hired me for this.
I do want to put a pin in what dump truck flavored chips would be like, but we can discuss that off.
I definitely wrote that down to discuss later. That is getting discussed.
Anyway, we're doing a hero. And so I'd already selected the article. This week it is number 6 for you guys, and it is from The Independent, so that ruins the streak of Huffington Post ones. And the article is, boy who sparked major police hunt after vanishing from his bed overnight is found hiding under his bed.
All right.
Okay. So he's really good at hiding.
Yes, that, or he has a power where if he goes under his bed, he can get connected to other beds. So he wasn't actually under his bed. He just traveled somewhere.
Holy shit. So it's like the closets in Monsters, Inc. or something?
Yeah.
Like all the closets are connected?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then he goes to the Upside Down.
Well, now that IP is taken by another source, Drew.
Yeah, I just made that up.
Right off the old dome piece.
That's clearly a Seinfeld reference.
I have been watching a lot of Seinfeld lately.
Do you guys remember that episode where George falls asleep under his desk and when he wakes up, he's in the upside down and he has to fight a sort of interdimensional demon? Oh boy. I bet he got in trouble with his boss for that one.
I like that. That's cool. Does he like... Now, were you describing a scenario where all the beds are connected to each other? Like he can use his bed and go to someone else's bed? Or does he use his bed and it connects to all this one same universe, and then from that universe he can leave and appear at another bed? It's kind of like when isn't it in the fiction of Nightcrawler that whenever he bamps, he like appears in some like hellish universe and moves around in that, except super quickly, and then reappears in our universe?
Yep, that's exactly what it is.
So how did we want to do that with this bed?
I don't know. I mean, I'm down for the world that's like in between the beds that he goes to.
I'm thinking it's a more like it's not as brief as Nightcrawler's visits. It's more like he can go into this alternate universe and he can come out via another bed, but he can also chill in between if he wants.
That's what I was thinking. I mean, it could be some sort of... It doesn't have to be like a hellish landscape either. It could be kind of like a cool...
I was going to say, what if he goes there and spends some time wherever it is? And maybe he doesn't age in wherever this place is, but this is the first time he's used his bed portation. I don't know.
So is it like Narnia?
Could be. Yeah, he's greeted by a fawn. Oh, Mr. Tumnus.
I don't like the idea of it being straight up Narnia, but like a world... I picture something like a cross between a boogeyman-esque world where everything's kind of like got a blue tint to it. And it's kind of like, did you ever play the game Pajama Sam for computer? I kind of picture like what he sees the world as.
No, I've never even heard of this.
Now that's something everyone can relate to. I'm going to relate to it by looking up Pajama Sam.
There it is.
On Google. You at home can follow along by pulling over and looking it up yourself.
I like the idea that he goes and spends some time maybe trapped in like some alternate universe that is not ideal, and he like has to survive in there, and then he comes back and he's like, oh shit, there's this whole other universe, and what are they planning? They're gonna cross over, and it's up to me.
Yeah, that would actually be pretty dope, and that's why he's missing for so long.
Yeah, or like he was missing like overnight and he reappeared like the next morning, but maybe he spent like months down there.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Or he like Jumanji'd and like lived down there, and when he came back, he grew up and was like, he spent decades in there, and then he comes back and he's a kid again, except now he's lived his whole life in this hellish landscape. He survived. He's got skills now, and he knows, that universe is dangerously close to crossing that threshold and invading our universe. He's kind of
like the Doctor Strange of our world, of our...
Yeah.
Like he's our first entry... Well, not our guess. I guess Omen Shaman was our first like mystical entry in the series. But this is like the first one that actually performs and acts primarily in a dimension alternate to our own.
Yeah.
And he's like acts as a gatekeeper for it.
And his name is Pajama Sam.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that's fine.
Now, I honestly, I can't believe anybody from Pajama Sam is still protecting that IP. No one's really going to come after you with
one guy in his basement, like, oh shit, an alarm goes off.
Google searches for Pajama Sam just skyrocketed to 3. So we're going with another universe that's going to try and cross over to our own.
I like that. We don't have to do that. That was kind of my thing that I went off on.
So
Did we have any other ideas that we wanted to explore?
I think one that we could potentially do like in tandem with that is, so not only is he protecting that world from coming over here, but like maybe things he does in that world can influence events in this world. So maybe, he knows that somebody is currently robbing a bank, and he can kind of flip into this other world, and someone is like, there's a different sort of event happening in that world that if he stops it in this world, he can stop it in the other world. Sort of like a connected event between these two dimensions. And perhaps like in the alternate world, he has more abilities and can actually do stuff there, whereas in this world, he is powerless.
It's like Neo in the Matrix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Why not?
So it's...
But that could also... So he both has to use that world to help our world, but he also has to protect our world from that world.
Can we think of any example of like how two worlds, our world, there's like a bank robbery going on, and then how could he influence it by going to the other world and doing something over there? Are we talking like direct parallel universe or what?
No, I guess so. Like what I was kind of thinking was something to the effect of like this would all be hinged, of course, on him having abilities that he doesn't have in that world.
Sure.
Him having extra abilities in those world. But so somebody's robbing a bank in this world, or like let's say that somebody is taken hostage. So there's a shooter and a hostage.
Okay.
Well, you go into this alternate world, and now the kid's got like a sword and a blanket cape and like a crown from Burger King, but like they actually have powers in that world that protect him. And the hostage guy is like this huge monster that's like grabbed onto this princess. If he defeats the monster in that world, like the guy in the other world sort of like passes out, or like, I don't know, has a cramp in his leg and drops the gun or some shit, but like he manages to impact it in some way that is meaningful.
He goes to this alternate universe and somehow it goes back in time, and he convinces the young gunman to, pursue that novel. Not give up on that.
Don't give up on your dreams.
Yeah. What you're describing is a direct parallel universe, and he just goes over and kicks the guy in the shin. And
no, not necessarily. I'm not saying he flips into other universe and it's literally a man standing there. It's not like it's our world but tinted blue and that's it. It's like our world and tinted blue, and the gunman, instead of being a man, is like this 15-foot tall ogre that's holding onto a literal princess.
Oh.
So he has to like find the alternate event that's connected to this event in his world.
Whoa, okay,
and
yeah.
solve it in a fantasy, or I mean, it doesn't even have to be fantasy. It can be like literally anything.
It's like whatever
in a
he's
mystical,
into.
Crazy world.
Yeah, it could just be like some mad Alice in Wonderland kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there we go. That's a good way of describing it.
Okay. What does he get when he goes into this parallel universe?
What if like he goes under the bed with like he literally puts on like a blanket cape, a Burger King crown, and grabs a plastic sword, but when he gets in there, they're all real, and like the crown gives him like super strength, and with the cape he can fly or something like that, and the sword is
sort of like
sword.
He takes relics over with him.
Yeah.
And they turn just badass.
So it could be like, it doesn't always have to be the same thing too. Like say he got a new toy, he'll just take it with him and it could be something different.
Like, would he carry like a little toy truck through the portal with him, and it's a giant truck when he gets to the parallel universe?
Yeah.
Maybe that. It's kind of like, maybe it's restricted, but not restricted like to his imagination.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Would this parallel universe be like something that doesn't exist without this kid?
Oh, like he made it somehow?
Somehow.
So it's like this is his powers. He creates this world.
Yeah, he's been able to do that. And his imagination is just so buck wild that it's actually come to life somehow. And he has the ability to influence our world.
Exactly.
What exactly? Like, okay, so we have the hostage situation. He goes into his world. There's an ogre and a princess. What happens? He fights it. And what happens to the guy in the real world?
He explodes.
Wow.
You cut off his hand and the guy's just suddenly minus a limb, or maybe he talks it down. I don't know. And suddenly maybe he's able to talk the ogre down, and in the real world, this gunman has a change of heart. I think we got to establish something with that.
What he's actually fighting is like the darkness that's inside these villains.
Oh, whoa.
Holy shit. So I am just realizing now, after hearing Tanner talk a little bit more about the idea, that this is striking incredibly close to the video game Persona 5, which I have been playing quite a lot of. Let me just give you a quick rundown of Persona 5.
Okay.
A bunch of teenagers in high school basically enter an alternate dimension where they steal the hearts of evildoers from their world. So,
okay.
I mean, it's a parallel idea to our own, but I if we want to pursue this one, I think it might be good for us to figure out some ways that we can differentiate ourselves. And if we want to back off the whole alternate dimension monster stuff, like, let's do it. Like, we can do whatever you guys want to do.
Maybe let me pose this. What if he goes into this alternate universe? It is still kind of like a weird offshoot of the real world. Except he kind of created it in his mind. But like whatever he does over there it doesn't influence what's going on here. Okay. Instead, what he's doing is these alternate beings like are people's like evil versions maybe, or something like that. And these evil versions are trying to break out, kind of like what I was getting at before, and come into the real world. And maybe if one does get in the real world, then it's this kid, like it becomes his agenda. It's his responsibility to defeat it or send it back or something like that. Otherwise, it's just him in this other world trying to keep this darkness at bay.
So he's created this world inside of his own mind, but maybe he's such a talented psychic or whatever you want to call it, that this world actually became extant and sort of absorbed the evil in the hearts of particularly bad people from our world. And they're trapped in that alternate dimension, but they want to escape. And so he's sort of like the prison warden of this dimension, having to keep them in. Prison warden in a figurative sense, not like literally. He's trying to keep them in. Is that kind of what you were saying?
That'd be kind of cool.
And then all hell breaks loose maybe not all hell, but bad things happen if he manages to fail.
How does if they get out, how does he stop them?
Does he have to do something in the real world?
Maybe there's something he has to do in this parallel world. But basically, this kid is worthless in the real world.
I mean, maybe if a spirit gets into the real world, then he needs the help of another hero to sort of help him banish it back to the dimension where he can fight it on equal footing. This could be an opportunity for us to loop in another hero if we wanted to.
Yeah, I was also just thinking, like, what happens if some of our creations, like, what if their evil side or their darkness, whatever, escapes and comes into them?
That would be a good episode. Or
Sweet.
issue. Like Bushido Sobo, the evil that lurks in the heart of Bushido Sobo.
Oh, there's so much evil in there. Tanner, you're quiet. What are you thinking?
I don't know. I wonder if this is too restricting because he can't do anything outside of this alternate world.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess even Doctor Strange can do stuff in this world.
Well, one other thing that you had first mentioned, Drew, before I said, like, the world's under the beds, is that he's just super good at hiding. I mean, that could be a power in the real world.
So would we just add that on there somehow?
Possibly. I mean, maybe he gets a power from going into that world.
There's some sort of weird radiation in this parallel world that gives him stuff.
Yeah, there's like a space with radiation in there.
Yeah, there it is. Like, he's most powerful in this parallel universe.
Maybe he has to charge his powers in this universe.
Okay.
So it could even be like, when Superman goes into the phone booth and comes out in his suit, like maybe he dives under the bed, comes back out, he's got that dope Burger King crown that's giving him powers for a little bit.
I like that.
Yeah. So it's like that's where the source of his power is, but he can do those things outside in the real world. And maybe it's more of his main thing is he's fighting things that come out from other kids' beds. So you know how like kids always think there's monsters under their beds.
Oh, there's monsters under the beds.
Oh shit, there really
Tanner,
is.
This is a really good idea.
So like that's his MO. If he has to fight other monsters from underneath other kids' beds.
All right, so instead of the monsters escaping their world and like coming into our world by like invading their parallel self, would it be just like the monsters escape their horrible universe and they come out from under the bed and it's this kid becomes the bed guardian?
While other kids got monsters under there, he was the one who managed to have the strength to have this sort of like power under his bed that he could tap into.
While other kids, they're hiding under their sheets, and if any bit of their skin, if any bit of their skin is exposed, the monster's going to get them. This kid was just like, no, fuck that. I refuse to live in this fear. And he dove right under there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, then the monsters,
he's braver than all of us.
The monsters can be like, personalized to each kid's fears. So like under Drew's bed, a clown comes out.
Well, okay.
A clown monster.
I'm going to go sleep at my parents tonight.
But I mean, seriously, like, obviously that's a big fear of kids. There's definitely going to be a clown monster at some point.
So are we going to abandon like the dark counterparts of people and just do like everyone's worst fear?
I like that.
Yeah, I really like that.
The whole symmetry of he's fighting the monsters under other kids' bed is from under other kids' beds is a really neat thing that I like.
So does he have any powers in the real world? We want to do that recharge thing. I like the idea that he does have some powers here, but he is just super powerful in the parallel world.
So are we going with the parallel world? I'm kind of confused where we're at now.
Maybe the fear averse.
Yeah, so that's where he will send them. But there's a lot of ways out, so monsters keep escaping, but like he gained his power in there. Like I don't know, maybe one night he went under his bed and went to that world and like he saw, this is cheesy, but like a sword in the stone, and like he pulled it out and then boom, he got his powers then. Or
just like no human has ever been to this universe. So he's reacting to this universe in such a way that he's gaining his abilities. Maybe the fact that he chased this monster under the bed kind of broke things over with the connection between this universe and our universe, and that's making more monsters come through. So he
sort of like opened the seal by going from one world to the other.
Maybe just a little bit. So now he's working to try and close that. Like, oh shit, this whole season 2 of Flash.
Yeah, I was gonna say Digimon, but that works.
That's, yep, Digimon too. All right, so what does this kid get? Your typical
I like
fanfare?
the idea. I mean, do we want to retain any of the idea that whatever maybe like whatever he takes over with him sort of is a tool he can use when he comes back over? The crown and the sword and a cape, like a blanket cape.
Yeah, no, I want to keep that. I liked that a lot.
There's got to be some sort of restriction to it because he's just like, he's not going to go over there with like a little firecracker and come back with a fucking nuke.
Well, yeah, a nuke's a bit much.
I think you limit it to like common
But yeah,
sense.
I mean, basically,
for the
you
purposes
get the
of the
idea. You
comic.
can think of things like if he brings a bucket on his head underneath there, he comes back, he's gonna have like some dope helmet or something.
Okay. So he doesn't get enhanced at all. It's just these things that come back with him.
Well, those things can enhance. I
I suppose
imagine
he
the
has to be
cape's
enhanced
gonna...
to a degree in order to wear the stuff. Like if he comes back with the dope ass helmet, he can't be a 9-year-old. Like he has to have the strength to carry all this stuff and use it without falling over.
Does him spending time over there, he like grows up a little bit. He comes back, he's a full-grown adult, and as he fights and uses this energy in his fights, he reverts back to
Holy
a
shit.
kid.
Do you guys ever watch Power Rangers, like the 3rd season, Turbo, where one of the Power Rangers was literally a child who, when he morphed, became a man?
Yes.
Is that kind of what we're imagining?
It gets Shazam.
Yeah, kind of like Shazam, where he's like an
Okay.
adult.
Except he's
There
just
we
one
go.
kid.
We found it. Did we want to maintain? We talked about this universe only came out through his mind, but maybe we should ditch that because now it's kind of
Yeah,
think so.
it's
let's
the
ditch
sphere
that.
universe always existed, and he's just crossed over.
Yes.
All right. What else do we need to talk about?
Boy, howdy. What? So we don't have a name yet, but so powers are... okay, does he get older
He
a
gets
little bit
older.
and more
He gets
swole
beefy.
once he comes back
Yeah.
out?
So beefy.
It's like maybe this kid was running around during that night he was gone, but his parents just didn't recognize him.
Yeah.
Could be
He gets items that he takes with him can change and become more powerful
based on.
to use when he comes
kinda-
back, based on what they are.
Is it like whatever he's thinking, or just kind of whatever happens?
I think that'd be kind of fun because I mean I think in that way that could be one of the ways you artificially avoid a nuke. He's a
Yeah, then
8-year-old. He's not
yeah.
thinking about nukes. He's thinking about one of those comical giant explosive like black bombs with a fuse coming out of it. Like he's not thinking of a nuke that's going to destroy the entire
he
city.
could use these powers for bad, but no, he is the guardian.
He's a good boy.
Okay.
So as far as how he got the powers, he went under his bed, was brave when he saw the sword and the stone and pulled it out. Is that kind of what we wanted to go with?
So then
Yeah.
it restricts something like that would restrict just anyone going over in this universe. Because I would love a crossover where he has to team up with a double shot or something, and they need to go into this fear universe. And what's the stop? Like, what if it's some background radiation? What's to stop double shot from also getting these powers? Some
see.
MacGuffin over there needs.
Yeah,
needs
it
to
doesn't
occur.
necessarily have to be a sword, but like something.
I mean, I know it's been done before, but the idea of sword and stone is
I
still
was just
dope.
gonna say, like, if it's a fear universe, maybe there's one point that's just like, maybe it's cliche, but like light in the darkness or something like that, and he finds it, and he becomes the. Oh, let's just hold on, just 1 second. Do you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the garage door underneath my apartment. Cool. Okay. Let me start that over. He finds the light in the darkness in this fear universe, and somehow he gets it and merges with it? Something like that?
Yeah, it's like he finds a nightlight and he unplugs it.
Why would he
Fuck yeah.
unplug the nightlight? That's
'Cause
like
he's
the
not
worst
afraid.
thing
Maybe he
he
finds
could
a nightlight and plugs it in.
Or maybe he plugs the nightlight in.
Oh no! Wait, hold on. What you said was more
He
profound
conquers
than
his
what I
fear.
said.
Mm-hmm.
He pulls it out, and the light from the nightlight goes into
Yes.
That's
cool.
the
That's
only
like a
way
cool
he could
image.
escape it the first time. And then he becomes like, he becomes the portal between this world now, except for the monsters or the fear monsters that are
him.
breaking
He's
out.
the nightlight for
Yeah.
other kids.
And
Yeah,
then
so-
that's why he's able, he could take people with him,
Mm-hmm.
but they need him to get out.
So, like, we haven't really discussed, like, how he fights or finds the monsters that get out. So, I guess I was picturing either he has, like, a sense for it or he gets alerted of it. And, like, what he does, he dives into his bed, goes through the bed world, and then comes out from underneath the bed where the monster came out from and is, like, in that kid's bedroom or whatever. And then, like, runs out and chases the monster down. So that could be like why he was missing for one whole night.
Are the monsters trying to accomplish anything in this world, or
Just terrorize.
They like fear, and so they want to scare
Okay.
people. I think.
Yeah,
Man,
it's
those
like an
poor
Evil
kids,
Monsters Inc.
The poor kids that are right there as soon as the monster comes out are probably traumatized for life.
Maybe that's part of his powers is he makes them not traumatized.
Oh, he gives them the light.
Yeah.
He defeats the monster, goes back. The kid is still just fucking terrified in the kitchen because he's woken up mom and dad now, of course.
Of course.
And he like goes up and like just touches their forehead or something, and it's just like, sleep, you're okay.
And then they just think it was a dream.
And then it kind of like helps the kid conquer his fear. It's not gonna make the kids fearless, but like it makes them just a little bit stronger,
Yeah.
more ready, more equipped to if this fear should ever be unleashed.
Yeah.
What's he weak to then?
He is pretty powerful. Don't take his bed away.
Do his abilities work only on the monsters, or do they work on like anything in this world?
Maybe it only works at nighttime. If the sunrise hits him, he's like immediately reverted back to a kid.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because I mean, these monsters are only going to come out at night, and that's when he's needed most. Is when these things come out. I mean, if he sees a bank robbery, he's not gonna happening at night. He's not gonna be opposed to helping.
So
there,
like, yeah, that could be a plot point though to like not reveal his identity. Like the sun's gonna rise in like 2 minutes. He has to sprint back to get underneath the bed.
or get to any bed at all.
Yeah, any bed. So like he could just bust into a department store and dive under one of those display beds.
So we had talked a little bit about him needing to get under the bed for a little while in order to basically, like, for lack of better terminology, charge up his powers. Did we want to stick with that? Because that could be it's another limitation and like a weakness. Did we want to stick with that, or was that sort of, are we abandoning that idea and it's just like it's just the nighttime portion?
I think he has to go into the world first, at the very least, in order to get his powers. But yeah, that's what
that's
do we
fair.
want to do? I'm getting like so into this discussion we're having. Like all goofs are out the window.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
right?
I just want to flesh this kid out. I love it.
I had an idea for a name if we want to.
Well, let's figure
say
out what was the question.
Do we want just like a time limit as well as the sunrise thing? So it's just to limit him a little more.
We could.
I think sunrise probably works because it's a time, like if he doesn't get under the, if he doesn't realize he needs to be out working until 2 a.m., well, shit, he's only got a couple hours to do what he needs to do.
True. Yeah. So I think sunrise works.
Yeah.
But he does have to go in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Let's talk about name then. I also have an idea, but Nate, what do you got?
Do you want to say? Should we just 1, 2, 3 and say it at the
Do
same
it.
time?
Yes. Okay.
Okay, let's do
Tanner,
it.
count us down.
Wait, are we doing on 1, 2, 3 go? Are we doing
Let's
on go?
do 1, 2, 3, and then say it.
Okay.
Let me know when you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready.
Go.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
Nightlight.
Nightlight.
Whoa! Oh my
With a K.
Now this is important. How is it spelled?
With a K.
Yes. Oh, hold on. Let me just. Oh my god.
Is there a wraith in your place?
The clowns are coming out from under my bed. That is fucking ridiculous, but it makes the most sense.
You know, I'm.
Yeah.
But I was thinking like Fright Light, but then I was like, no, he's a knight.
if he was the bad guy,
I'm so
maybe.
embarrassed because I did not think of that.
Oh my god! Can we stop it? What are you doing?
We're hearing Drew lose his mind.
Unfortunately, on our end, it's not that loud. Like, it's just sort of like
Yeah,
a
it's a
hum
hum.
that I vaguely hear.
All right, I'm back. God,
Did you get him to stop?
I'm like looking out there, like, why does? And you know what? Now it's open, so it's gonna happen again.
He's just testing it out.
Yeah, this is the garage door. So you know what's great about a garage door? Watch as it opens. And you know what else? It can close.
It's just a light hum, though, honestly, Drew.
I know, but for me, my whole apartment fucking
That's
shakes.
crazy.
Yeah, it's
Just
great.
like plaster comes from the ceiling, the walls crack. Like,
God, I might even fucking leave the garage door hums in here because it's just fucking hilarious now, I think.
Yeah, it is pretty
but
funny.
also very frustrating.
And funny.
Okay, where were we?
Nightlight.
Nightlight. This is headline heroes first.
I didn't think it was going to happen when we counted down.
We literally got it in one.
Yeah, we actually did.
We finally got it in one.
I can't believe
a lot of times we sit here for 3, 4, 5, 6 hours trying to think of a name.
Yeah, I heavily edit this down.
It's true.
I'm blown away.
Well, now we can spend all that time we were going to spend on names just continuing to flesh the sweet boy out.
Oh, maybe we could talk about like what we're doing this weekend. But okay, yeah, let's
Sure.
let's stick with the
I'm just going to log
podcast
off
idea.
real quick. You keep talking though.
Okay. So what does he look like, I suppose? I mean, we already talked about, like, he's got to be a knight now, and we've already kind of talked about sword and Burger King crown.
But this podcast brought to you by Burger King. Burger King, eat fresh.
Burger King, bring on the meat. Or we got the meat? I don't know.
That's Arby's.
Yeah.
Please, Drew.
Bring on the feet. And then
Burger King, bring on the
Burger
feet.
King is just, he's
a foot guy.
He's a foot guy.
Damn it.
So, this kid, he's most commonly a knight. I think it would be fun to do some, like, in some issues, he has alternate costumes because, he was at a fancy party for one of his friends and he got called, or he realized after the lights, like after it got dark, that he was needed. So he had to crawl under his friend's bed to, like, go fight crime. So maybe one episode he's dressed up in some sort of, like, he gets there and he's in like a wizard's costume or something like that, just because he was wearing something else when he went under. He didn't have his trusty helmet and sword and cape. I didn't even hear it that time.
You okay, Drew?
I think
Drew?
I
Okay.
think he might have
I'm
his
here.
house might
Drew?
have actually collapsed.
I'm here.
I hate it when you get like this.
I like. Oh man, it'd be great is if it opened a third time.
I probably will.
I love my apartment, but I hate that aspect of it.
What about when
It's not even my
you have
garage. I can't even put my car in there.
you can't put your garage in
I
there.
can't put my garage in there.
What about the time that you had a literal barricade of dumpsters surrounding your door?
Oh,
That was good.
that was that was a little frustrating.
As I recall, you just sort of submitted to your fate and crawled in one of the
I
dumpsters
crawled
to
in
make that
one
your
and
home.
became a dumpster boy. I'm just a big old dirty boy. For those listening at home, my apartment is situated on top of a garage with 4 dumpsters outside of it. And one time the garbage people showed up and just positioned them around my door. So I could get in. I just had to squeeze between 2 of them. It was gross.
And that was the inspiration for Larry the Cable Guy's new chip.
Dump truck.
Dump truck.
I gotta ask you, Tanner,
But
what
really, it would be like
flavor
a loaded
is
potato,
dump truck?
I mean,
Like loaded potato.
so no, just go ahead and look up Larry the Cable Guy's chip flavors and combine all of them.
Just whatever is left over
Rolling
from a batch.
Stone rated it unbearable.
It doesn't come in
3 out of
bags.
5
It comes in a
unbearable.
tin garbage can. Because fuck you. That's why. No, we can't talk about
No,
this.
we need to get
No,
back
okay.
to our Nightlight.
What's our sweet boy doing?
What did you say about costume? Like,
I was just saying
it
that,
differs
like,
every time.
I think he's most often a knight, just because that's how he imagines himself. With the, he's got the cape and the Burger King hat and the sword. But maybe when he's at different events, he ends up having to sort of go in whatever he's in at the time, and that changes what he comes out in on the other side.
I think, though, maybe at all times he's got to have that Burger King crown on him. I think there's got to be a staple.
So like he's just always carrying that crown around with him in his back pocket.
Yeah, I mean that can fold
Yeah,
up.
it's cardboard.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing. I'm just confirming.
I think he's got to
I'm
have
down for
that,
that.
but whatever else, he's in his bathrobe. He jumps in, and now he's a wizard with a Burger King crown. All right, what else?
So he got sort of the costume taken care of. Is he just doing this out of the goodness of his heart?
Yeah.
I think he's I think he feels a moral obligation because he spent a hellish night underneath his bed that first night where the police couldn't find him. And he had to, like, in order to get out, he had to conquer his fear and unplug that nightlight and just accept that it's going to be okay. And then he emerges from that changed, and he feels like, oh, other kids are victims of this. Plus, what my actions of diving in has left the rift between the worlds weakened. So now these things are spilling out, and it's kind of up to me. I'm really the only person with the powers and like the capabilities to travel there, and even the knowledge that this stuff exists now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh.
Drew, you're louder than the garage.
I'm sorry. You probably can't hear it at all. It's just seriously, everything is shaking for me now.
We'll wait.
Okay, it's gone. It's gone now.
Right back down.
Wow,
It's going right back down right now.
You were right.
I gotta look at the Audacity. Oh yeah, it's definitely picking it up. No doubt is it picking it up. Sweet. Anyway, all right. Motivation, yeah.
So like his first like victory or whatever, his first time like fighting a monster after coming out, I was just kind of picturing like his best friend is constantly like sleepy at school, and he asks him why, and it's because he keeps like getting scared in the middle of the night. So he goes in and like the monster keeps coming out of his best friend's bed, or like maybe it's the first time he does, and he chases the monster down and defeats him. And his best friend, like he reveals to his best friend that it was him. So then like his friend is his like one confidant who knows his secret identity. So he's like constantly covering for him. So like maybe he's like, you know, super sleepy in school or late in school, and he keeps coming up with excuses for him. Or he lets him like stay the night at his place so that way he can like fight the things without his parents being worried.
I like the idea that the monster came out from under the friend's bed, probably scared the friend a lot, and then like went and terrorized on the town, but had to return before sun came up.
Yeah.
And had to go back in under the friend's bed.
Exactly. So that's like what kept keeping him up every night.
Yeah, that's good. I wanted to ask you guys how he probably went in and had to confront his own fear. What fear did he have that?
What if he's afraid of the dark? I mean, that's the quintessential one, right?
That's true, yeah.
And it would make his becoming the Nightlight all the more like poetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any other ideas besides dark?
No, I like that. No, it's poetic.
So he wandered around the dark for forever, and it was only when he was able to face his fear of the dark and unplug the Nightlight that he was able to sort of assume his powers, like Tanner had said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does this comic book cover look like?
Could be a shot of like a bed, and like you can see just underneath it, and you can either see like his feet, like he's going under.
So like at the top of maybe top half of the comic, it's him crawling under the bed. You see his feet, and then like this bottom half of the comic, you can see like the rest of him sort of jumping into this crazy Alice in Wonderland like world with monsters in it, and he's got his Burger King crown on, but it looks like a real crown, and he's got his sword out in front of him, and so you kind of see him half in and half out.
Oh, that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Then Nightlight.
Is he like, wait, is it like a kid's little kid in like booty pajamas? Like those are the legs you see. And then as it's emerging, it's a full grown muscular man.
I think so.
Yeah, it could be instead of like top bottom, it could just be side to side.
Oh, that's true.
So that way it's like, you know, half cut off is like his bedroom in the bed, and the other half's this mystical world, and he's got like a real sword in his hand and stuff like that.
And like all around as he's emerging, there's like little spooky things, spooky faces and whatnot.
That's really cool.
You got like spiders and clowns and other things that people are afraid of.
Nate's humanity, I suppose.
Yeah, Nate's humanity's in there.
Yeah. The ever looming threat of death.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. So, do we have any connections?
It would be cool to pick out one that we haven't done a lot with since their inception. Because like you had mentioned Double Shot, but I know we had just done something with Double Shot in the Glazed and Confused episode, issue number 10. Is there anyone else who would be a good candidate?
I'm trying to think of like what haven't we touched upon. We haven't really touched on Sheriff Coleman, but that's because he's a recluse. Derek?
Let me just Derek
Maybe
just wants to be left alone.
Derek is also, yeah.
Maybe Derek's fear comes out from under his bed though, and it's people wanting to spend time with him.
They're sort of like
it's his parents. We're worried about you, Derek. Are you eating? Oh God!
But as they get after him, they get angrier and angrier and start to like transform into more grotesque creatures.
Yeah.
Derek, you need to get back to us about Thanksgiving.
Oh my God! Oh, my heart! I'm a little spooked now.
Shit, Drew.
Don't do that to me. You know how I spook.
Hey, shush. It's okay. We've been doing some spooky things these last 2 episodes.
Mm-hmm. Spooky, scary.
Yeah, we have.
And there's always the connection of. So we have Derek. There's always the connection of like any one of those kids from the Mech Gruff episode.
Always those kids.
Part of the Watchdogs. I mean, they're kids. They probably have nightmares.
We haven't really connected things back to Bushido Sobo. Like
except
lot.
for her grandson.
Except for that's true, but that's
it.
Episode 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Bushido Sobo's old. She's not afraid of anything.
She can't really see like something's coming out to try and spook her, and she's just like, Simon, is that you?
Yeah, they're powerless against her. Like maybe she has fears, but she can't even see when they're right in front of her.
But then the sword like acts up and starts trying to fight it too. I don't know.
That could be a good team up. Samurai Bushido Sobo and our Nightlight together attacking
Could this sword be somehow a relic from this, something like that?
so like an item that crossed over and became a samurai sword, but then somehow made its way back to our world without losing its form. Well,
But then like, because like we've established that this sword is like a conscious entity. It has a mind of its own and controls Bushido Sobo somehow.
Yeah, maybe it is a relic. Maybe some previous person who was the defender, because maybe the Nightlight's the chosen person, and maybe they,
Yeah, maybe this is like
passed
not
away.
the first Nightlight.
Yeah.
That could be. And we've established that it's an ancient Japanese sword. Maybe there was a previous Nightlight who was a samurai. Yeah,
he died in the real world and his sword kept its form.
Maybe he died in the real world and somehow his sword absorbed him.
Oh,
a little bit.
Oh.
Yeah, because then we get the conscious. Then we get that consciousness. Doesn't bode
So
well
like a
for
direct connection.
Simon, or not Simon, whatever this kid's real name
Oh, we
is.
didn't give him a civilian name.
We'll do that. Doesn't bode well
Oh.
because that alludes towards if he dies in the real world, I think he's going into that Burger King crown or whatever
But then
it
someone
changes
else will
into.
pick up that mantle and maybe start being a hero too.
No, but I like that.
Yeah, it's
this
a good
is a
idea. That was a
leftover
good one.
relic, and it's the former Nightlight.
Yeah.
And then they're kind of like bonded, like bound together, like that Bushido Sobo and Nightlight.
For real, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, but we should actually figure out just what's his name.
Sport.
He's afraid of darkness, so Johnny Darko?
I don't think that
That's a
one's
good
taken.
one.
That's a good one.
Donald Dorcas.
Johnny Jarko.
There it is.
His first name could be Sonny.
Sonny
King.
King.
Maybe his last
It's
name
actually-
is literally King, and that's why he keeps around that Burger King crown.
I
Yeah.
love it.
Yes.
Okay.
Sonny King, aka Nightlight.
Okay. Sonny King.
Can we talk a little bit about that? This is a really bad news article, all told in the end. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we lost our son, but we didn't look good enough, and then we found him. But that's not
The
really...
police fucking failed too.
I know. I guess that in itself is, I guess, sort of a news story worth noting. Like, our police are not very good at finding.
They didn't even look under the bed.
Or maybe they live in that town of idiots. Who knows?
Oh my God.
We just did that though. I feel like
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think we have a great connection with Bushido Sobo.
Yeah.
we have been on point with like the last 4 or 5 episodes tying it back into other stuff. Good
Yeah.
What
job,
is the official
guys.
name of that other world? Do we have an official one?
I kept calling it the Fear Universe, but
I guess I'm good with that. I was just curious.
fear.
What's the Japanese word for fear?
Oh,
But it's older
that is
than
actually
Japan.
merited a little more than the past times you have actually joked about it.
What if we called the alternate universe Gam Gam Sam Sam?
I'm smiling so big right now. Oh, bringing it back in. Somehow we are getting that in. Somehow we're getting that in, and somehow, like, come holiday season, I'm bringing back up Anti-Santa.
Oh, good. Can we? I was hoping so.
Yes.
Guys, we're gonna get to do a Christmas episode at some point. Isn't that
Oh
fun?
my god.
We should do a gift exchange. Oh, it'd be so much fun.
That would be actually hilarious.
Let's do it.
We could do it like the Dreadiverse. Like, I'm just looking up
The Dread Zone.
Osore is Japanese for fear.
a story. Maybe back when the first Nightlight, he called it that.
I mean, are we saying that the one in Bushido Sobo's sword is the first one?
I guess maybe it doesn't have to be. Very
I
early
feel like this
on.
is a position that's been around for a long time because that fear universe has been around for as long as people have been afraid.
Yeah. And maybe
could
then
be
since there's been other Nightlights, maybe we have to ditch the fact that him crossing over created more of a rift. It's just always been this way, and there's always been a Nightlight.
And maybe when Bushido or Bushido Sobo's sword, like maybe he managed to sort of hold it back when he died, like as part of his final death, his death thrall, he managed to sort of seal up that dimension a little while longer and give that kid time to come around. But
You're saying that there's not been any Nightlights between this one, the samurai, and Sonny King.
I don't know. We've tapped into a deep vein of lore here, but I don't know the rules that we're working in.
We could just leave it open.
Mm-hmm. It's TBD. It could be something we pick up another time when maybe another piece fits into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just have established that the samurai, who maybe we should name sometime, but and Sonny are both Nightlights, and it is a mantle that has at least been passed down once.
Yes.
Yes.
Agreed.
Okay. Did we want to keep
Well
it
done.
Fear Universe, or did we actually want to go with the Dread Zone?
We can noodle on a little bit longer if you want. Up to you
It
guys.
could be the Terrorverse.
What would a 9-year-old call it? How old was this kid?
Spooksville.
He's 9, yeah.
We could call it the Terrorverse.
Dread Zone's kind of good.
It's been called many things. Maybe this is the first time it's been a kid.
Could be.
So, like, other adults have called it the Terrorverse or the Dread Zone, and he's just called it Scary
Terror
No-No
Town.
Place.
I almost wonder if he won't be the best Nightlight that's ever been, just because as a child he's got the most vivid imagination of all the previous Nightlights and can think up more stuff that he can use to help fight these creatures, whereas an adult's imagination might be more limited.
It's true.
I like that.
Yeah, if I were in this role, I would just be like, how about a gun?
Exactly.
Every
I've got a
time
really
it would just
big
be a
gun.
gun.
Ah, but this time I have tentacles of ooze that will... Yeah, I do have a
I do
gun,
have a
though. Damn!
What does this kid call this place?
Yeah, the Fearverse.
The Fearverse?
Yeah, or Fear Town.
Or he could just call it the
Tinkletown.
Darkness.
There we go.
What if he just, like, since he was wandering around, is surrounded by his worst fear, he just called it the Darkness.
I'll dig on that.
Yep.
The Darkness, but it's been called many things before. What was the Japanese word for fear, Tanner?
Sore.
All right, that's definitely what the samurai called it.
Okay.
I'm down with that.
Okay, good job, everyone. I'm reaching over and I'm patting Tanner's back.
Oh.
Yep, and
Hey, I'm here too.
yep, reaching over. Just one pat for you.
Oh, I mean, it's warm. I'm good.
It's warmed up from Tanner's back.
Tanner's got that warm back.
He's
I know
got
how it
that
is.
warm back.
All right, is there anything else we want to talk about this bad boy, or are we good to wrap her up?
I think so. That was great. I love this.
Love you.
Tanner, I'm waiting.
Oh, yeah, I love you too.
Okay, I'm just gonna play us out then. So this has been issue number.
Hey, Drew, is there anything you wanted to say back to me and Tanner, maybe?
Yeah.
I mean, because we kind of put ourselves out there a little bit, but
So this has been issue number 12 of Headline Heroes, featuring our new superhero, the Guardian Against the Darkness, Nightlight. We wanted to take this time, as always, to thank Brett Jacobson for creating the art for our show. Also want to thank Carl Sorensen, who created the music for our show, and Carl's website, carljsorensen.com. We'll put that link, as always, in the description. If you have any articles you'd like to see us discuss, please email them to us at headlineheroescast@gmail.com or tweet them at us. That would be great. Our Twitter handle is headline_heroes. I preach this every week, but I'll just keep it short this time. If you wanted to give us a review, whatever your rating system your device has or app has, that would be great. We'd much appreciated. So yeah, we thank you for joining us, and we hope you'll pick up the next issue of Headline Heroes. And I love you guys.
Aww.